There's been a lot of talk about public aquariums and even zoo-based aquariums on the channel lately. Well, thanks to a generous and anonymous subscriber, along with contributions from the Zoo Experience, just go ahead and subscribe to him if you'd like, we have the privilege of walking through what is well known as one of the best of its kind. For today's episode, we are going back to one of the most popular zoos in Europe, the Burgers Zoo of the Netherlands, home to one of the world's greatest indoor jungle exhibits, indoor desert, and one of the greatest zoo aquariums in the world. Burgers Ocean opened in the year 2000 and holds a total of 8 million liters, making it not just one of the largest zoo-based aquariums in the world, but one of the biggest marine facilities in all of Europe. The ocean building can be found at the very end of your journey through the Burgers Bush Rainforest exhibit. For as extravagant as this aquarium is, it sets the tone with a calming dark blue backdrop with jellies in the foreground. More specifically, Japanese sea nettles. You might notice these days, most places sort of avoid using the term jellyfish anymore because, well, they're not fish. They're a kind of gelatinous zooplankton and belong to a group that includes corals and sea anemones. Jellies have no brain, blood, lungs, or even a heart. But apparently, you don't need those things when you have a simple nervous system with receptors that detect light, vibrations, and chemicals in the water. You may have learned in school that the human body is composed of roughly 60% of water. Jellies are between 85 to 98% water, which is one reason why they are able to blend in with the ocean around them. Not including the jellies, this ocean is conceptually split into 6 main realms, starting our aquatic journey on land and slowly descending us into the deep. So if we were to go out and explore the actual ocean, where does it begin for us? At the beaches and lagoons. A gallery that features 2 long panoramic views of an aquatic world that bridges the land and sea. A lagoon is often calm and relatively shallow, and where sunlight easily reaches the bottom, and because there are no strong waves, more delicate corals can grow. And where there's coral, there's usually hundreds to thousands of tropical fish. While most aquarium attractions branch out and introduce us to waters that are all over the world, Burgers Ocean solely focuses on vibrant life from Indian and Western Pacific tropical waters, otherwise famously known as the Indo-Pacific, a region that's home to over 3,000 species of fish. In these 2 lagoon tanks, there's over 50, including zebra sharks that appear to be juvenile, stunning orbicular batfish, mythical unicorn fish, and my favorite, the black-chin guitarfish, a critically endangered specimen that looks like a mix between a shark and a stingray. Now, this gallery's open-top design uses a seamless waterline and a backdrop of an endless ocean in front of us, allowing visitors to see the sunlight one more time before we dive even further beneath these waves. Burgers Ocean is renowned for its remarkably designed natural-looking habitats. In here, there's no visible empty back wall to break the illusion, even to the point where the edge of the guest viewing area blends into the ocean habitat. This is the Reef Gap, otherwise known as the Reef Canyon. These underwater canyons form within coral reefs due to natural erosion, water currents, and geological activity. They can be deep, narrow passages lined with towering coral walls. I was looking through this footage and thought, now this is really beautiful. It also has nearly 20 species, but I just expected a little more for as great as this tank is. Then, I saw a very rare treat. How many times as a tour group or you on your own visits watched an eel stay so loyally devoted to a burrow? They usually stay in crevices to hide from predators and to ambush prey, which varies from crabs, octopus, shrimp, and small fish. In the wild, they might either leave their burrow if another eel has invaded their space, or they might be going out to find a mate, or if the ambush thing isn't working out for them, they will go on the hunt out in the open. So I'm willing to bet that Burgers feeds their animals well, so this one could just very well be trying to find a different hiding spot or simply stretching out. The Indo-Pacific is one of the most species-rich natural habitats on Earth, and that is partially thanks to its abundance of coral reefs. I know maybe one or two of you might be thinking, a coral reef tank. Pretty sure I can just go see one of those at my local aquarium. Well, there's a good chance that you haven't seen anything like this. There's about 60 species of tropical fish and 100 species of corals, and as far as I know, not a single one of them is fake. Nothing artificial or decorative. This ecological system is a living coral reef. It's about 5.5 meters deep, 750,000 liters, making it the largest man-made living reef in all of Europe and the third largest in the world. And corals are not easy to please. In fact, it took nearly 10 years for this to grow into a proper so-called underwater forest. The water flow, water quality, the right amount of light, and even right amount of food must all be precisely balanced. So to create something of this magnitude is truly fascinating. The zoo even implemented an artificial moon above the tank to simulate the lunar cycle, which helps stimulate coral reproduction. So the zoo did everything they could to copy nature, except for maybe two things: plastic in the ocean and rising temperatures. The right temperature also plays a major role in a coral's health. Reading from the zoo's signage, when ocean temperatures rise due to climate change, it disrupts the relationship between corals and the tiny algae that live inside of them. As a result, corals will expel this algae, leading to coral bleaching, and in many cases, even death. And scientists worry that if climate change continues, numerous coral species may face extinction. The Night or Nocturnal Reef Gallery features a couple of small globe tanks. Once a habitat for lionfish, I'm now told displays flashlight fish, along with a smaller but still impressive living reef. Except this one and its signage very specifically tells you about the different kinds of coral that exist. Some have branches, some look like bubbles, some are soft, spiky, and even what's described as stony. I'd like to give everything in here a chance to shine, but I can't wait anymore to show off the next realm. The largest tank in the aquarium, and one of the largest aquatic features in any zoo around the world. Nearly 25 species call this small slice of the ocean home, which includes a potato grouper, not quite as big as the Goliath grouper, which is drifting around in here somewhere, but they can still grow 200 centimeters in length and weigh as much as 110 kilograms. Which is 4 to 5 times heavier than any of the sharks that live in here. Blacktip reef sharks. Blacktip sharks, yes, there is a difference. And you will most likely see these species swimming non-stop. Although there are some reef sharks that can stop and rest at the bottom, and don't need to be on the move to breathe, just like the zebra sharks. Almost every section in this ocean promotes some sort of conservation message. And the best way to do that with sharks is to let the people know that sharks aren't out to get them. They are very specialized hunters, but only a few species of sharks are truly dangerous to humans. And even then, the attacks are just mix-ups, and they might confuse us with their actual prey, like seals and sea turtles. The sharks in this tank are fed small fish, shrimp, and crabs. I hope that you definitely by now have noticed the shipwreck. And I could see someone thinking that it's a pretty cheesy way to spruce up an empty ocean. But in a way, it perfectly replicates what you would find in nature. It serves both aesthetic and ecological purposes. These shipwrecks, which some are accidental and some are sunken on purpose, can become artificial reefs, providing shelter, hiding spots, and eventually a rich source of food for marine life. This massive window adds to the illusion that we are standing on the seafloor, and because the animals and other elements fade away the further that they move away from us, it looks like this stretches on forever and makes it difficult to tell how big it really is. I don't have a photo, but I do have a link below to a video that describes how this illusion is created. It involves overhanging tarps that blocks light from directly hitting the back half of the tank. If you jumped in and wanted to reach the floor, you'd have to swim about 6 meters down. To swim side to side, that's 30 meters. And to reach the end of this invisible abyss, 17 meters. And you'd be swimming in 3 million liters, contained by what was originally the largest acrylic aquarium panel in the world. Now hold on, we're not done yet. The next grand display is a similar setup to the open ocean. If you look at the floor plan, this is labeled as the small or little ocean. It's about less than half the size of the shark tank, but it follows the same method of light illusion and makes it look just as endless. According to the signage, its actual name is the School Fish Tank. Paraphrasing straight from the signage so I can give the zoo some credit. A lot of reef fish have great eyesight and a special line along their sides, helping them swim in groups without bumping right into each other. Schooling keeps them safe from predators, but also these large groups can be easier to find. Unfortunately, humans can catch entire schools. Some of my fellow American viewers might be familiar with the Monterey Bay Aquarium's Seafood Watch program, which in short is a guide that encourages you to buy from seafood markets and restaurants who source their food responsibly to prevent overfishing. Well, burgers and other European zoos and aquariums participate in something similar. The fish in this zoo's restaurants and the fish that they feed to their animals is acceptable and approved by the Good Fish Guide, created by the UK's Marine Conservation Society. And on top of that, Burgers is also dedicated to breeding more aquarium fish, so there would be less need to source them from the wild. Which brings us to our last major gallery, what is simply known as the tunnel, that puts you through and under 1.6 million liters. Its theme isn't based on a coral reef or an empty ocean. It's designed to look like as if we're walking right underneath a large dock, and you're surrounded by at least 12 different species. There's more batfish, mangrove stingrays, and Australian whip rays. But the zoo makes it known that the star is the fever or group of eagle rays. So going back on the subject of breeding animals at the aquarium, the Burgers Zoo has proudly established itself as the world's largest breeder of spotted eagle rays. Since this ocean opened in 2000, the zoo has successfully bred over 70 offspring. In fact, one prolific male was responsible for siring 39 of them, while one female gave birth to 17 pups. And this program is so successful, the zoo has supplied numerous rays to other European aquariums to promote genetic diversity, where then second generations have been bred and born. And these conservation efforts and accomplishments serve a greater purpose. They truly show how much the Burgers Zoo cares about the future of this endangered ray. The Burgers Ocean is a captivating experience that offers a front row seat to some of the most majestic life and habitats in the Indo-Pacific. With its incredible underwater tunnel, stunning reef displays, and commitment to conservation, I'm really proud to have another exhibit on this channel that really showcases the importance of preserving our oceans. Even before kind people provided me with all this footage, I knew that the Burgers Ocean was and will remain for the foreseeable future one of the greatest zoo aquariums in the world. And that is where I will leave us for now. The very next time that you hear from me, we will walk a few hundred feet from here to the Burgers Desert, also known as one of the best of its kind. If you made it this far, I want to thank you for coming along this journey with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe, or consider becoming a channel member to vote on future content. And as always, please stay tuned, stay wild, and thank you all for watching Zoo Tours.